What is up, everybody in the world? Welcome to Geek Off the Street
Bam.
live. Yeah, we are live right now, so I gotta be careful what I say here. Yeah, thank you
We're gonna
guys
keep it
for
clean.
yeah, well, we'll see about that. We'll see. But yeah, we're my name's Trent, as always. My name's Trent.
Yep.
Sorry,
It was Mark.
This is
Kind
the
of heard
lineup.
that, something like that.
Yeah, this is Geek Off the Street. I know it doesn't line up when we try to do the actual
Yeah.
actual opening. Yeah, flag online. But yeah, we're Geek Off the Street, the greatest podcast of all time. Talking about geek culture, pop culture, and everything else. Tonight is no exception because we are again we're live on YouTube here to talk about what are we talking about, Mark?
Oh, they just dropped it, season 2 of The Last of Us.
Yes, exactly.
So kind of excited about that. It was pretty popular when it came out a couple years ago. So,
yeah, first episode just came out. Yeah. Literally just came out 6:00 PST, 9:00 Eastern time. If you're on the other side, and wherever else you are, it came out at the same time, just on whatever your time is in your time zone. But came out at the same time for everybody. So yeah, we decided to check out that first episode. We wanted to discuss it a little bit before the rest of you. So yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, and and by this point in time, everybody, at least in the mainland or in the lower 49, whatever you want to call it, except for Alaska and Hawaii, everybody should have had the opportunity to see it by now because it came out at 9:00, like we were just saying, on our time. So and so it's about that time.
Yeah.
So everybody should have seen it.
Exactly.
Hopefully, if you're into it.
Yeah, hopefully you all checked out. If you didn't, obviously if you want to avoid spoilers, then maybe don't listen to us today. But
it's only the first episode.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot to spoil. And if you know anything about the games, part 2 specifically, you'll know what's going on. A lot of similarities to that. But yeah, quick shout out to Eric King. He's the first one to jump into our stream, dude. What's up,
Eric? What's good?
Eric King from up in Washington. Always checking us out, man. Appreciate you jumping in, dude.
You Washington boys.
Yep. So far, it's only people that I knew from Washington that jumped on these streams, man. Where's everybody else at? But thanks for jumping in, Eric. I hope you've had a chance to see the first episode of The Last of Us. If not, don't worry about it. Stick around.
He's like, oh man, spoilers out.
Yeah. I'll tell you everything you need to know. Don't worry about that. Cool. Well, I made a drink a little earlier. It's a good old fashioned. Been melted though, so it's all right. Yeah, it still tastes fine. It's the same.
And I'm drinking water because I'm a good boy.
That's wow.
I'm not like Trent. You got a disease.
But yeah, nice, good choice, Mark. I got water over here too in this thing, but that's for after the.
Too late, rummy. Too late.
Hey, I don't drink rum. It's whiskey. But yeah. So I guess you're just getting to some first impressions, man. What were your first thoughts on watching the episode?
Okay. No, you know what? Okay, we're gonna stick with.
I'm waiting to hear what you're gonna say because I'm gonna yeah. What do you guys say? You're the more positive one, so.
Okay. Well, the first thing I was going to say was, and I don't know, it might just get kind of mixed up with the positives and the negatives, but I kind of rewatched quite a bit of the first season, not the whole entire thing.
Okay.
And I still stand by my statement that the show is good. Like the first season was great. The characters are great, acting was great. There are a couple of little hiccups you could point out here and there. But my thing is like those characters, they're not the characters from the game. I'm still, if I said it before, I'm gonna like triple down on it, even more so, especially after watching that first season all over again and watching it all, I don't want to say congruently, that's not the right word, but consecutively maybe, but watching it all together. What's that?
No. Go ahead. Sorry, keep going.
Okay, well, I'm assuming you were saying something supportive, so I'm gonna keep going.
I was, but, actually. So.
Surprise.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I still kind of that's still, you know, kind of a little bit of a hang up for me to kind of get over. You know, the actress that's playing Ellie, Bella Ramsey, I want to say. You know, she's great. I mean, if you've seen her in Game of Thrones, like, she stole the show. She was amazing in that, obviously.
Yeah.
And you know, I think she's just doing what she's supposed to be doing in this role. I just think the character wasn't written very well, to me anyway. It's not Ellie and it's not Joel. So that's kind of my big hang up. The characters, I mean, the show is still it's still very well written. That's the thing about the show, because it's, at least in that first season, and so far I don't have any complaints with this first episode, in the sense that the writing is very good. The writing is still, you know, phenomenal. So I think whatever issues you might have, again, if anybody else has that issue with these characters not being like they are in the game, the show was still good enough to kind of to carry that weight. So that's I think that's always been my biggest hang up. So it's just something, you know, for me to get over, I suppose. But
yeah, remind me, I remember we got into a pretty big discussion about it. As far as, I think, specifically Ellie, I remember that.
Right.
I think we got into it about that. And I was saying, I think that I had said that at least in the beginning of the season, in the first season, she reminded me of Ellie, because Ellie was confrontational. She was confrontational, and she was like a foul-mouthed kid towards adults. I remember you saying the issue that you had with it was that
right, yeah, like, and I disagreed with that. Yeah.
So I know. I remember you disagreeing with that, even though, like, I remember, like, she was like cussing out Bill, and she was like cussing out Henry, or was it Henry or Harry, or I forgot the brother, the older brother.
The biggest time where I remember her really cussing was when she dealt with those people at the resort, and the guy that, like, kidnapped her and all that kind of stuff. And she was more kind of doing things on her own, but, like, all throughout the game, she wasn't, like, just, again, she wasn't like this foul-mouthed kid throughout the game. Right, I know. We looked at it and we clearly saw something different.
Yeah, because when she cusses out Bill, like when she first meets Bill in the basement, like, she cusses him out, like, "Who the fuck are you, guy?" And she's like cussing him out and, like, being real confrontational with Bill. And then also even with Henry, when they first don't know who they are, like, she is like a scrappy kid. That's how I perceived it.
Yeah.
So,
and I didn't.
Yeah, you're saying you didn't think she was confrontational at all, right? You said she wasn't like.
Oh no, I didn't say she wasn't confrontational at all. She was definitely confrontational, and I don't have a problem with her, you know, using the profanity, you know, when she did, because it was always it seemed like it was always at an appropriate time, you know. But when she was with Joel, for example, which was the majority of the game, she wasn't, you know, running around like F this, screw this, or, you know, whatever. So again, that's my thing. And then also, and I'm not trying to dip away from that, but their dynamic was very different. And this more has to deal with the first season. So their dynamic was very different in the game too. But yeah, we completely saw something different. So man,
I agree with you on the dynamic part. 100%. Like, she shouldn't be equal to Joel because she was a kid. And so, like, I don't like when they do that, when they elevate the kid and make them on the same level. I agree with you 100% on that. But yeah, I mean, I literally had played the scene when they meet Bill, and I was like, yeah, she was literally a scrappy foul-mouthed kid cussing them out. And I was like, that's exactly what I just saw before we recorded this episode.
Right. And I don't have a problem with her doing that, you know, some of the time, but she was like that throughout this whole entire series, practically, at least in that first season. There were more moments where she was not being, you know, using vulgarity and being obnoxious. There were
I mean, but they're not with people that often, though. It's really just when they come into contact with people. There was no reason for her to do it with just Joel and fighting clickers, I feel like. But
right. So like I said, that was most of the game.
Oh, okay. Well, that's agree, disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
There's been no progress on that front, everybody.
Yeah, like we literally played the game at the same time too. Like we literally, like you played it, and then we like replayed it, and then I replayed it right after.
Right, yeah, I replayed it too.
Like,
right,
literally within days of us playing, we played it at the same time, and we still couldn't agree.
I actually got excited to play it again because it's a good game.
Yeah. But yeah. So anyway, yeah, I do agree with that, and I actually. I really recall the first season. I don't remember walking away from it like loving it. I don't think I walked away from it being like, oh, this is like the greatest show. Because I think for me, the game is such a cinematic experience on its own, and it's like playing a movie, like playing that situation. Like I think it was so well done, storytelling, character, and gameplay. It's like the perfect package, the perfect game. And living that experience is incredible. And then I don't ever really feel like we needed a live action like adaptation of it, and it definitely didn't live up to what the experience was with the game. I know it's a different thing of playing a game versus watching a movie, but it did not bring the same. Like, you don't get the same experience. It didn't feel as exciting watching a live action remake, especially when it's not like it's not like the game, like, and as far as like the story or the characters go, it's not as engaging. It's kind of a step down in a lot of ways. So I think I don't remember walking away from the first season being like, yeah, hell yeah, that was an experience. That was a ride, you know. I don't think I remember doing that when I watched the first season.
Okay, yeah, I'll agree with that. The thing that I think I walked away from with that series, and again with the first season, I should say, is just some of those episodes were really good. Like the episode with I guess was it Bill, or whoever the dude was?
Bill.
Bill and Henry. Is that his? I can't remember what his name. I don't think it was Henry.
I don't think it was. I think Henry was the black guy with the younger brother.
Oh yeah, maybe you're right. Well, whoever it was that gay couple that was on their own, you know what I mean? And the thing is, like, that story was it was told so well. Like, I don't know, I just think of it as just like these two characters, you know, that going through the ups and downs, you know, of the zombie or, you know, fungus apocalypse going on. And their story was great, and it was told great, and it was entertaining. So that's what I'm talking about when I say, like, the show is so well written. Like, they never went into that much detail or into his backstory. I think you kind of find out that he's even gay. I think when Ellie like finds like some magazines or something like that, you're like
the letters.
Okay, so that was the deal. You know, you just assume like he was arguing with his friend or his partner or whatever, but not necessarily like, they were in a relationship. So they expanded on that. They kind of did their own thing with it, and it worked for them, which was cool. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. I completely agree. The video game is fantastic. You are completely engaged in that story when it's taking place. The characters are three-dimensional. They you know what I mean? They feel real. You're happy for them when things go well, and you're sad when things go terrible for them. So no, I agree with that. It's like comparing a book to a movie. It's kind of the same situation. So
yeah, very similar. And I think I even said in our episode about that. I think whatever that episode was with Bill and his partner, what was like great standalone. Like, it was great on its own. Like, that one episode by itself, great storytelling. But I remember not really caring for it in the scope of the entire season, because it didn't really do a lot for that whole season, for the whole narrative, because you only really see there's like a very short interaction with Joel and Bill, I think, and then their past and how they knew each other, but there's not much. Like, they just kind of stopped there to get supplies or something, right? And and they just
they're kind of working out some sort of deal with them to like trade for supplies, equipment, that kind of thing. So they're trying to establish that that relationship, essentially. That's how Joel first meets them. So
gotcha. And then in the present time, then they just kind of show up. He shows up with Ellie, and they're already dead at that point, I think, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And they're kind of learning the story in reverse. So it was kind of more like again, that alone, that was a great episode by itself. But it's kind of like a side story that didn't really contribute to the rest of the show. It's kind of more distracting than it was in the game. And so I think that was just overall, because it just wasn't. The show was cool. It was well done in a lot of ways, but I think it's hard to not compare to how good the story is in the game and how well the characters are developed in the game.
Yeah,
it's hard to it's really hard to separate those two things, especially when it's something that's this incredible,
Yeah.
But
and it kind of makes it makes it stand out that and they're both great actors, Bella and
Pedro.
Pedro. I'm on a first name basis with them, so they're both great. I got no issues with both of them, but they're both not the characters. I feel like they were kind of brought in there, for their names, for who they are, kind of thing, more than it was like good casting. At least on, I guess, it's on a physical level. I feel like they probably could have found people that looked more like the characters.
They went out of their way to not I mean, I think if they would have casted Caitlin Deaver as Ellie, that would have been closer than she is for Abby, so.
And maybe they were just trying to, they want to separate themselves from the game as much as they can. So they we're going to do our own thing with it. We're going to put our own spin on it, that kind of thing. So
yeah. Which is odd that the guy that wrote the game, he's one of the writers on the show. Like, he's the guy with the beard in the after credit scene. I think he's the one who wrote it for the game. He wrote the game story. So I don't know. I wonder about that, for him to have written the games and then to come onto the show and then kind of try to change things up a little bit. I wonder what kind of a challenge do, like, to pick apart like a masterpiece.
I feel like
can retell
I feel like when they do that kind of thing, I think they know that they have to take a back seat. I know they have to kind of realize, like, it's not my thing anymore, or this thing is not mine. Like, the game, 100% them, but the original writer of it. But the TV show, you have to step back and say, okay, these guys bought the TV show, so I'm just there more, to support or to, help out however I can, the best way I can. It sucks that they have to do that, but it feels like that's always the case. Especially, when you hear about, other, comic books being bought by, other companies or other, like Netflix or whoever. They they're like, even like with like Avatar, you know what I mean? Like, whenever, The Last Airbender, when they take it, they're gonna kind of do their own thing with it, whether it's good or bad. And most of the time it's typically bad, because the reason why they're making the show is because the original, product was so great and so loved. So that's the reason why you're doing it. So I wish somebody would just recognize, like, you know what? They've already done it. So let me not go in here and try to, put my own spin on it. Let's just, do it, I suppose. You know what I mean? Or not try to change it too much.
Well, it looks like Neil Druckmann he wrote episodes 6 and 7 of season 2. And it looks like most of season 1 is just like kind of based on his. Oh, well, I guess he directed episode 2 in season 1. So he's got, like, he has more of a hand in it than I think, like, than a consultant.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, still though, I wonder about that process to have to come back to it.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not the guy in charge. I'll put it that way. So.
Yeah, I mean, he's always like, it's either him, and the showrunner that do all those those little end credit making ofs.
Mm.
Yeah, the showrunner and then the guy that created the game. Those are the two guys that they interview every time for those. So it looks like, well, let me look at this real quick. As far as the showrunner goes, but yeah. Anyway, as I'm looking it up,
well, let me throw out really quick too. You know, kind of bringing it back to this first episode. It's kind of the same thing with, you know, like with Joel and Ellie. They're not quite. All right, I'm going to stop saying it. They're not quite who they are in the game. So, you know, just if you're a fan of the game, be aware of that. If you're not a fan of the game, you never played the game, you just like the show, then it's probably going to be on course. You know what I mean? You'll probably like it well enough. It kind of irks me a little bit. Like, you know, Joel was this, you know, this more, you know, quiet, stoic, you know, life's beating him down. He's still tough, but he's, you know, he's a tough guy, but he's got this, you know, affection for this girl who's, you know, essentially his adopted daughter kind of thing. So it's cool to see him wrestle with that, but in this we don't see him wrestle with it quite the same way. He's I don't want to say he's softer in this, but
I mean, I think they did, like, I think I said it in the episode that we did about the first season. I think he was pretty good up until the latter part of the show when he starts like opening up to Ellie. Then he starts kind of becoming a little more happy-go-lucky sort of. And I think that really took me out of it a lot. Like towards those last, I think 3 or 4 episodes when he was like making jokes and you know, being more like sillier. But that kind of took me way out of it. I think I thought the first couple episodes of him be good. I thought he was in that role the way it was played in the game, like a little grizzled, little broken. I think he did that part really well. But then he started kind of becoming a little more like he opened up too much. Like with Joel,
let his guard down too much. You know what I mean? Just being like you said, kind of being a little, you know, just jokey and kind of happy-go-lucky kind of thing. And that was never him showing his soft side. It was just basically doing something nice for Ellie, you know, taking her somewhere nice. He wasn't, you know, cracking jokes or, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And that was kind of that kind of was a bummer. Yeah.
One thing I'm curious about is go ahead. What did you say?
So does Neil Druckmann he co-created the show, and he's the creative director of the show, also a writer and creative director of the show. So he has a pretty sizable part in the show.
Okay.
He's not the showrunner. Craig Mazin's the showrunner. That's the other guy. It's in the end of the end credits. But he has this pretty sizable thing. So it really seems like because just based on his interviews, he seems like he's okay with the direction that the show's been going in. It's kind of something that he wanted to take. He wanted to do something a little bit different than the game, even though he created the game. You know, so or wrote the story for the game. So, but
yeah, I heard him say that in an interview too. That he would that there were some things that he, you know, maybe would have done different after seeing the show or, you know, being part of the show that he might have done different with the game. I don't know.
Yeah.
I always feel like they kind of gotta say that, so I'm always it's like I don't trust you, man.
King says, did you play it on PS3 or PS4? I played PS4 version first. No, the PS3 version first. Or was it the first version of it, the PS3 version, and then I played the remastered one on PS4 or 5, whatever the newest one. I think I played it on my PS5, but I'm not sure it was remastered for 4 or 5, but yeah, that's the most recent one I played. The replayed. So yeah, I don't know. What about you, Eric? Did you play?
Yeah, I did it on both. I the first time I played it was on the PS3, and then then when the show came out, I just, you know, downloaded it again and played it on the PS4. So,
gotcha. Cool. All right. Sorry, you were saying? Were you still in the middle of a thought or no?
Oh yeah, I think I was saying something. That I was curious about Abby's character, because it's funny because Abby, you know, the that team that's kind of going after, that's looking for Joel. Abby's kind of a, you know, she hits the gym, So I
Oh
was,
yeah,
I
she's
was
like a
wondering if
walking
they were
meat
gonna have,
bag
yeah,
in the
somebody pull up
game.
that.
Yeah,
What's that?
she's like a walking meat bag in the game.
Yeah, she was pretty thick. She was
Yeah,
pretty
I
thick.
remember
She
that.
was.
I
I mean,
remember like
it makes sense if you're living in that
yeah.
world. You probably do need to be as strong as you can. And she was part of the firefighters, and they were,
Yeah.
you know, they were a militant group. So it makes sense that you would try to be strong. And what happens is
Yeah.
she basically, I think she really starts getting strong after her father dies, because they show her beforehand, and she looks like a normal kid, like a normal girl. And then you see her later.
Okay.
It's like she's
She
getting
looks
ready
like a
to.
dude.
She knows what she's got to do, so she's getting ready for it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I really
I
want.
remember that. I remember it. I remember it circulating back when I was before I actually played it. I think there's a screen grab of like her workout, like on a piece of paper in her whatever where she lives. And it was like the One Punch Man workout. It was like, there's no way she got that jacked from just doing push-ups.
One Punch.
Yeah, it was like there's no way she got that jacked from that workout. I think that was like the circulation. I think like gym people and like trainers were talking about it. I was like, yeah,
Yeah, that's not gonna do it for you.
Chicken Jeremiah, what's up, Jeremiah? He hopped into the chat, man, dude.
Nice.
He wrote, Abby should have been played by John Cena.
By John Cena.
Yeah. That would have been
put some ponytails on him.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome
that would have made the show more interesting.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah. Any what were you talking about again?
Yeah, some other stuff. I mean, so far I like Dina's character. Dina was always like this, she's more of the, the brighter side of life kind of person a little bit in the game. So I do like Dina's character. She seemed like she's pretty good in this one so far, so I got no issues with that. Again, it's, I don't know, when the two of them went in, I have some issues. For one, I've said it before. I say I don't like kids. A kid is anybody younger than me. So, but it's what it is. I don't like bratty kids or obnoxious kids. And I guess even with everything that Ellie's gone through, her and even Dina are a little bit obnoxious. And I was trying to justify it. I was trying to think like, well, they kind of grew up in this world, so that's, you know what I mean? It's not a big deal to them. My thinking is, why are you going off the grid to do dumb stuff and to not pay attention to the rules? And again, I'm not like a rule person, but when your life is on the line, when people's lives are on the line, you gotta rethink things. You have to, kind of step back a little bit. So the fact that they run off and they go into this, building when they're not supposed to, I don't know. I really tried to think of it as like, they're teenagers and that's the world they live in. So they're just obnoxious teenagers, I suppose. But
no, I was were you gonna say you're annoyed? I was super annoyed.
Yeah.
I was starting to get really annoyed with the I was like with Ellie the entire time. I was annoyed with her the whole show, the whole first episode.
Yeah, she is annoying in this.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not taking a shot at the actress at all. I think it's just this is what they wrote. This was the direction, and that's what's happening. And she's coming off as this unlikable to me.
Yeah, exactly. Just a bratty, unlikable kind of entitled like kid.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit annoying. And if they're trying to make us not like her as a character, then they're doing a good job. If we're supposed to be respecting that, like standing up to the man, then you're doing a bad job. Because I was hoping that, man, I was like, someone needs to die so that you can learn that you're being arrogant, and arrogance gets you killed in this world. You know what I mean? Like breaking the rules and doing all the shit that you're doing, like you shouldn't be rewarded for that behavior. Like for you guys to come back in, to be talked to by the council and then get left off like nothing, like you guys didn't do anything wrong. I was like, man, you guys need to be punished. Like you guys are wrong. You know what I mean? And to continue to be rewarded for that behavior, and no one checks them. Everyone just lets them do what they want.
Yeah, nobody's checking them.
Because she has the same attitude as Joel. It's like, that they're kids. They can be reprimanded. Like they, you know what I mean? Yeah, they're smaller, they're younger, they can be reprimanded. Like they just, I don't know, it didn't make sense that they're all able to just kind of do what they wanted to do, and no one said anything to them, and no one stopped them.
Right.
And
I was hoping that girl, whoever that girl was that was leading the party when they were doing whatever. I want to say her name was Lucy, but that's probably not right. Man, I was just thinking, like, turn around and leave them.
Yeah.
You guys are supposed to report and go back. Leave them. Say, okay, when you're done having your fun in the little, in the market thing, we'll be on the road back. Good luck. Hope you don't die. And then,
why was she? Go ahead. Sorry. No, so why was she the captain? This like freaking soft-spoken like pushover. Like, why are you the captain?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I don't want to get into like the whole thing about, if someone is in charge and people are just, dismissing the leadership, then the you know what I mean? No one's gonna listen. You know what I mean? The rest of that party's gonna be like, well, they get to jerk off. I'm gonna go jerk off too. I'm gonna be an idiot too. I'm gonna go do what I want to do. I'm not gonna listen to the people in charge because they're not, and they're not getting in trouble for it. Nothing's happening to them. So yeah, that was kind of
that was a little annoying. Yeah, I hope that there's something happens down the line that like, all right, you guys are messing around and people died now because of you. Like that needs to happen because they can't just keep doing whatever they want, keep getting rewarded for bad behavior, being justified or validated, and then that's how the show is. Like that would piss me off. I'd be super angry if if it continues going like that. Like they're right the whole time because they're challenging the men in the world, like I don't need to see that be the main point of this.
And see, I'm curious, like even if they do, if they do go out into the world and bad things happen, is the moral or the lesson of the story going to be, we messed up, we need to do better kind of thing? I think it's going to be one of those things where it's, it ain't my fault. Something bad happened and I feel like they're still going to get away with it. I mean, we'll see. But I mean, even like when they were in the council meeting and I can't think of Joel's brother's name when he basically tells him like, you can't do that. You know what I mean? And then Ellie's like, why not? And then his wife's like, yeah, why not? I'm like, don't turn this into
don't turn into one of those. Like,
don't do that.
Yeah, because it's like, well, why is it different for you? Is it because I'm an adult? I'm an adult male. You're a female child. That's why it's different. But then she was just like, but then the wife was just like, yeah, why not? And he was just like, oh well, like, man, don't turn the show into that.
Right.
Like, don't turn this into one of those.
Because it's different because me and Joel were in charge. It's because we have more experience with this. Because you know what I mean. It's has nothing to do with what you're trying to spin it into being.
It's not at all. Yeah, it's not at all like that. It's just we've been around longer. We are experienced. We're the ones in charge. That's why
we're in charge.
Different. Yeah, that's why it's different. Not any other reason. And like, don't try to and that shows the division right there too. Like that shows the validation for their behavior. Like when his wife kind of turns on and sides with him, that already kind of validates their behavior. Like, oh yeah, we were right the whole time. Like, no, you weren't. You're wrong. Like that was wrong. You guys did the wrong thing.
And I have a hard time believing that they do live in. I mean, the world that they're in. I think results would get you the respect or whatever. You know what I mean? So I don't think anyone's going to be like, oh, well, she can't do it because she's a girl. I mean, there are people that are like that, obviously. And I would imagine people in that town that are like that. I mean, there is that, there is that one guy that when Ellie and I just said her name, I'm spacing on it now. Tina, Dina, when they were dancing, that actually happens in the game where the guy's like, hey, don't do that kind of thing. So that I get, but I think people are going to respect your results. And I think, Ellie, I'm sure she's extremely capable. She's been taught by Joel. She's been out there in the rough. So it has nothing to do with you being a girl. It just has to do with, these are the rules. You can't run around, doing dumb things, especially if you break the rules. Everybody gets to break the rules.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're being reckless. That's the difference is that you're being reckless.
That's what
nobody else is charging off like an effing cowboy into dangerous territory.
Right.
Like no one's looking for danger. So yeah, that's weird. That's how this world is. That's how they survive so long, by being, careful, calculative, and doing things safely. And when you have someone like that is like a freaking shoot from the hip kind of person trying to run around, guns blazing, and that's a problem to the society. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not a trailblazer. That's somebody that's causing a problem. So yeah,
right.
I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah, you're causing a problem.
Yeah.
One positive that I'll throw out there is, were you saying something? Sorry. Now that and I don't remember this in that second game that it was kind of like called out, but that one I don't know, clicker, grabber, whatever it was. I don't know if it was a clicker necessarily, but one of those zombies or whatever, when she was in there, that it was like kind of stalking her, it was baiting her.
Oh yeah, the hunter.
That I thought was great, because my thing was with that first season is I wish they showed more of the infected. And I get why they didn't. It's about Ellie and Joel and all the stuff that they were going through, so I get it. But there was more of it in the game, so it would have been nice to see more of it in that first season. Maybe do more to establish and show how dangerous these things are. Sure, they show them like mobbing, when they're outside, and they like a whole swarm of them came up underground. Sure, that's scary and dangerous, but kind of showing I don't know, just how those things work a little bit more would be nice. And I feel like there was less of it in the second game. I feel like there was less of it. So I don't know if they're going to try to fit in more or what, but I don't remember that type of infected being in the second game, but I did like it though. I did like that they showed that there was this different one. So I'm okay with them, kind of throwing in a different element as far as, those infected are concerned. Just something to kind of keep us that have seen the game, played the game, to kind of keep us guessing a little bit. I mean, it can't have that much of an impact on the story, because that's not what the story is. But I do like seeing that kind of thing, that they are maybe possibly evolving, maybe do something to establish this world. You know what I mean? Turn this world into a property, turn this world into just like anything else, where it's you don't have to necessarily talk about Joel and Ellie the whole time. Just talk about this world, tell some stories, within this world, and people surviving and doing what they do to lives.
Yeah, no, they clearly, and they did set up something with that with the pipe, and there's like obviously something coming through the pipe, like the
True.
Yeah, that whatever cordyceps or whatever is coming through the pipe.
Yeah,
and that I wonder if that was like purposely done. Like if the whatever the plant or the creatures are getting smart enough to like send their stuff through there or something. I wonder if that's
right.
That kind of came like right off the backbone of them talking about the smart one. So I wonder if that was meant to be put so close together, so that we know that maybe they actually are able to like sort of plan things, or at least go off of instincts. But like, hey, the people who are in there, and they're all hive mind. The plant has its own mind, so maybe there's some kind of intelligence there. Or at least instinct, some kind of instinct, something.
Or some sort of like stalker, predator intelligence. That makes sense. And I don't think that was never a factor in the game. So it almost seems like their town might be under attack.
Yeah.
Pretty soon. So that'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. So they might up the ante a little bit there with just like full on creature battles and stuff.
Yeah.
And however that plays into Abby's crew too. There's going to be like a three-way battle here, maybe, or something. Yeah.
Or maybe maybe something happens that kind of prompts or sparks them to kind of set up the rest of the events that take place. So I'm curious as well about people's reaction, what it's going to be to this season. Not giving any kind of spoilers or whatever, but the video game, and I think we've talked about it before, not on the show necessarily, that the second game was pretty divisive. A lot of people were not happy about it. I think I talked to CJ about it, like a month ago. We were talking about
Mhm.
it, and he's still salty about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was kind of the point of what they were doing. He's like, yeah, I don't care. So,
did he have did CJ give you a good give you his reasons why he was salty about it?
I want to say, but I don't want to say because I don't want to spoil the second season. If that makes sense.
I mean,
it's
he played the game.
You say yeah,
the game.
You do it anyway.
Like, yeah, I mean, you played the game. Like, I know. Like, I didn't play much of the game because I didn't want to play as Abby or Ellie. I wanted to play as Joel, and that's obviously taken away at the beginning of the game almost. So, or near the beginning of the game. And I didn't care. I wanted to play as Joel. I didn't want to play as Abby or Ellie. I didn't care about that part of the game. So, I think, I think I that's why I didn't care for it, and I just didn't care for where the story was going at that point. Maybe I don't know. That's gonna come off as I guess it's gonna come off as sexist, but I just like playing as Joel. I like Joel's character, like his story. That's what I cared about. And then when that was taken off the table, it was like, oh nope, you're gonna be playing as Abby and you're gonna be playing as Ellie. And I was like, well, I don't want to do that. That's not what I really want to do. And so I just was like, I'm not gonna play this anymore. So that's why I didn't play much of 2.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. To me, it's it's a bunch of pixels, running around doing other things to other pixels. You know what I mean? So to me, I don't really care so much that it was, Ellie or Abby. I think what ticked some people off, and again, what CJ is still kind of not happy about. It's not so much the fact that you basically went instead of like from like Ellie to Joel, girl to boy, boy to girl, whatever, and then it's just all girl for the most part in this. It's the fact that you do have to play as Abby. And it's the fact that you are playing as Abby that it humanizes her, because in the beginning of the game, you hate her. When everything is said and done, you hate her. When everything goes down, it's like, screw this young lady kind of thing. It's like, we're not, I do not like you. But as you play the game and you're forced to kind of live in her shoes, I don't know if that changed anybody's minds. I'm sure maybe with some people it did, but I think that's the interesting thing about it. It's that whole thing about just walking, walk a mile in somebody else's shoes. You know what I mean? It's the person that you look at as an enemy, or not even as an enemy, maybe just as a bad person, or there's something wrong with that other person. That's not always the case. That other person is a human being. That other person they are going through life just like all of us, whether it's good or bad or whatever the case may be. We all have a reason for doing what we do. And Abby's reason for doing what she does on some levels is justified. And if you say it's not, then Ellie does the exact same thing. So it challenges you. You know what I mean? Which I thought was cool about the game.
I think to an extent. I mean, Ellie lets her go at the end, which I don't think is.
Well, and Abby lets her go. Abby lets her go more than Ellie lets her go. Abby could have killed her several times in the game, but she didn't, because she wasn't the one she was after. And she was like, if you come at me again, I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to finish you. And I think she does come at her again, and Abby still lets her go. So it happens.
It's enough times you get into but at the very end, I think Ellie has her against the ropes, has her dead to rights, and then Ellie lets her go, I think, right?
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
Lets her go because of like the Joel wouldn't want me to kill you kind of thing, or I don't know, something like that, right? Some kind of like higher ground, being the bigger person kind of thing.
I don't know if it was like Joel wouldn't want me to kill you kind of thing. I think I honestly feel like by the time everything was said and done, she was just I don't know, like maybe physically, mentally exhausted, because they have a like a dirty fight at the end. It's just it's pretty visceral. And when she does find Abby is on the verge of death, when she finds her. Like if she just turned and walked away, Abby would have died. But I think she saw that Abby was trying to, I don't want to say trying to live, but she was trying to help somebody. She was trying to save somebody. and maybe she kind of took pity on her for that reason. When everything is, at the end of it all. But I feel
I would have plugged her.
So I would have killed her.
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably I feel like that might be what they were trying to do with that video game by making you play as the other character. Were they trying to teach everybody a lesson about how to look at other people? Maybe, or maybe they just thought it would be like a cool thing to do to kind of challenge people in that sense. But I don't know. I kind of respect the concept of them, basically saying like that person over there that you might not like, you know what I mean? They're human too, just like you. So good or bad, and and Abby was trying to avenge her dad, and Ellie was doing the same thing. So was Abby wrong for that?
I think, I mean, just in the sense that if Ellie would have killed her also at the end, then she would have been wrong too. They all were wrong, right? If you really put it into that perspective, like, so it shows. I think they try to show us that Ellie was the better person by the end of the game, and Abby was like still more wrong, I guess, in the sense of going through with the revenge. I think that was I think the point was they're trying to tell us that Ellie was the better person because she didn't carry out the revenge in response to Abby's revenge, right?
I guess you could make that argument, sure.
Because if Ellie would just came back and killed Abby at the end of the game, then it would be like, okay, well, everyone's just killing everybody out of revenge, and that's the moral of the story is, don't kill somebody and think there aren't consequences,
right? And that goes for Joel too. I mean, Joel, when he rescued her, and again, I don't fault him for doing that. I hate to say, like, I don't, you know what I mean? If my family's in that situation, would I be like, yeah, okay, go ahead and dissect them and take them apart so you can find a cure? I mean, that's the right thing to do, but would I actually do that? Probably not. But it's just like you were saying, there are consequences for your actions, and when everything was said and done, when you, especially in that first episode, you see all those little crosses out there. It looked like he probably killed like close to 20 people. Probably more than that, in all honesty. But he probably killed close to 20 people to get her out of there. And one of those people, and they show it in the last episode. They show when the doctor like says, "I'm not gonna let you take her," and then he's like shoots him in the head. And then when he takes Ellie, then they just show the doctor. They do a close up on him sitting there, just on his face, or what I mean, on his head, and you see he's dead. And they just give you a quick angle of it just to be like, there's going to be consequences from this moment, kind of thing.
Yeah,
I think people that have played the game probably saw like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing there. But yeah, I mean, there are consequences. So right or wrong or right, I don't know. Was Joel wrong for taking Ellie out? I don't know, but I mean, he killed Abby's father. So, I mean, doesn't she have the, within that world anyway, doesn't she have the right to go after the guy that, massacred her, friends and everything, killed her dad?
I mean, by the same token, Ellie has the right to take her out also for killing Joel, right?
Right. But see, now you started like that whole thing you're talking about everybody's just killing everybody. You know what I mean? And yeah, she has every right to do it. And then, then Abby's, little friend has every right. If Ellie does kill Abby, then her little, Firefly friend, or not Firefly, her, the Scars. Yeah. That's a little spoiler, everybody. Then that Scar has every right to turn around and try to track down, Abby or Ellie one day. So Ellie, the good thing that she did is she broke the cycle. That's what she did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Her taking the higher ground, and maybe that was the moral of the story, part of the moral of the story, legitimate. But by letting her go, she broke that, that cycle of killing, of murder. And yeah, both of them lost their fathers. They both lost their well, yeah, she lost her father figure.
Mm-hmm.
And then she ends up at the end of it too, man. I was trying to wrap my head around it. At the end of it, she ends up losing some of her fingers too, right? So it's almost like the whole revenge thing was this it's almost like it's like one of the gifts that Joel gave her was the ability to play the guitar, right, and to play music, and she gets good at it. And then at the end of it, she can't play guitar anymore. So it's almost like going on revenge. Like one of the last things that Joel, departed onto her was kind of taken away from her. You know what I mean? And when everything's said and done, Ellie loses a lot. She really loses a lot at the end of this.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just kind of makes her story a little bit more tragic, I suppose.
Going to chat here. Jeremiah said, I really think the game should have started out with Abby's story. They made us hate a character and they made us play as that character. Could have switched the story after the first time Abby sees Ellie. Yeah, all right. I can see that. The game definitely was about perspective, but I believe it was more about the bottomless pit of revenge. Nailed it, Jeremiah.
Yeah. I concur.
Oh, he said something else. More of an endless loop. I need revenge now. You need revenge now. I need revenge. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
You nailed it, Jeremiah. You gotta come on our show one of these days, man. We gotta get you on.
Yeah,
I gotta try to let you know before the day of, though. Next time.
He's like, I could have been on this episode.
Yeah. But yeah.
No, I agree with that completely.
Other than that, yeah. Did you have anything else to say about the first episode?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like the actor or whatever the character playing Dina's like ex-boyfriend kind of thing. He's pretty close to the game version, which is cool.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's cool.
So
yeah,
I don't think that's psychiatrist. Good. What are you saying?
Oh, psychiatrist. Is that a new character? I don't remember.
Yeah, that's new. I don't remember that being in the game in the second one. So, and that was weird, right? Like Joel killed her Eddie or whoever it was, her husband, and then she's doing therapy for him. Like Joel, and to me, that's like, Joel, why are you doing that? You gotta talk to somebody else, man.
Yeah.
If you killed that lady's husband, and then you're gonna knock on her door and be like, hey, can you help me with my trauma? And kind of thing. It's like, that was a weird thing. I was looking for that. Was that like it's gonna be like some sort of fantasy, or like this is what I wanted to say, but I didn't actually say it? That was super weird. Like she was saying, like, my husband's been dead a year and I'm dealing with it, and and I hate it and blah blah blah. And then the guy that did it and she calls it. She says, like, the guy that killed my husband is sitting on our couch. That's that was weird.
Yeah, I wonder what the story was behind that. I'm not sure how, like, when he killed her, who her husband was.
She said it was justified.
Why they're all just like living together, like it's all normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In this town,
it's like, dude, don't ever talk to me. Yeah, and they do mention that guy in the game a little bit, because they find his his workshop basically, and he is growing weed. He's got all sorts of like electronics and this kind of cool stuff. So he is in the game. Like, they don't show him, they just like find his his stash essentially.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah,
that was a weird thing.
Yeah, it kind of came off as like, oh, let's just add more bad stuff on Joel. Like, it seemed like let's just keep adding it on there, adding all the bad stuff Joel's done. It kind of seemed a little bit out of place, I thought.
That was I don't just want to get Catherine O'Hara on the show, which that's great. Right? Everybody loves her, so I get it, but you got to find the right spot though, guys.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. So for me overall, man, I wasn't going in excited for this season, because I don't remember. I didn't walk away from last season all super excited about it. So I think going to this next season, I was kind of like, I feel like I kind of had a good idea about what they were gonna do. And I'm not. Yeah, I didn't love this first episode. It was okay to me. I think. I don't really care for any of the characters so far. They're all unlikable for the most part.
Hmm.
I still like Joel. I mean, he's trying, and Ellie's being a little kid,
Yeah,
brat. And that guy would have tore her apart. That dude, that big dude, like she's like half his size. And on the dance floor,
she's like, yeah, don't hold your punch. It's like, shut up,
you would have been.
please. Yeah, that whole
Yeah.
thing is like you have to walk out of there the alpha in that situation. Like, out of all three of them there, it's like you are, and it's not. And again, if anybody's thinking, it's not, has nothing to do with her being a girl. It's the fact that one is you're the guy that's in charge, and then the other guy is like the guy that you're training with. And this, I don't remember ever seeing that in the game, but anyways, and this guy is like 4 times your size, kind of thing.
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's like you said, if you're trying to make her unlikable, like you guys are. This is almost like a Galadriel and Rings of Power kind of situation. You guys are just
right. Like
you're making it bad.
Yeah, if you're making her unlikable, then you're doing a good job. But if it's like, oh, we need to show that she's tough, and everyone loves a tough person, it's like you're not doing a good job at that. That's not.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, you're not. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not kind of. It's very girl bossy. It's very girl bossy.
It is.
Yeah.
And then when they kind of sprinkle in those moments, again of Joel's sister-in-law, like, why can't she do it? I'm like, don't. Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah. It does feel like that. It does feel like that.
And I hope they're doing it for a reason. I hope it's not just like, oh yeah, we're just making badass tough girls and they don't do anything wrong and everything's perfect. Like that's like happened with the MCU guys. You already tried that. Happened with Star Wars. You already tried.
Yeah.
That. Like, yeah, you guys like that. I'm not saying that there aren't badass women, and it's not. But there's a way to write it. Like Sarah Connor again that's the way. That's how you write it. Ripley, that's how you write it. That's how you do it. Use the I don't know, just her overpowering a guy 4 times his size, like I mean, you could use moves like, you could use moves. There's chokeholds and that kind of stuff, like maybe, but I mean, it's just don't pull your punches. That guy will break your face open if he were to not pull his punches.
Right.
Yeah. So he'd break my face open if he didn't pull his punches. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a little bit like yeah, right.
Oh, you heard that? Okay. I thought I whispered it. Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's I don't know. We'll see where it goes, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not excited about this season because it just it was whatever. That first episode reminds me of the rest of the show. Just not really needed. And it's not as good as the game.
Yeah. And I honestly, I don't have a whole lot of confidence that there are going to be any sort of consequences for her being obnoxious. I feel like there's not going to be any sort of fallout for the, for the girl boss, Mary Sue kind of situation going on.
Yeah.
Even though taking all that into account, I am looking forward to watching this season because, I know what happens with the game, so I'm curious about seeing all the rest of that kind of brought to life. How good of a job they're going to do, I don't know. But again, like I will say though, in that first season, they had some. They have some really good episodes. That one that we were talking about with Bill, and then the other one with Henry and his little brother. That was, that has some cool moments to it as well. So I think the writing and the storytelling is good enough to kind of justify, it's that spoonful of sugar kind of thing. It's so good. It makes that medicine, AKA like the bad material that they're doing. It makes it kind of smooths it out. It's like, okay, I can accept that, Ellie's not quite like Ellie, or Joel's not quite like Joel, or, these characters are, silly and doing dumb things that just don't make sense in this kind of, dangerous world you're living in, that you're taking all these dumb chances. But I'm hoping that the quality of the writing will be enough to kind of, I don't want to say save it, but to make it entertaining, to make it a good story. So I'm so optimistic about it. So I am looking forward to watching the rest of the season.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, again where we disagree as always.
Yeah, I mean that's not even a big deal about a thing to, I'm not like fighting you on that kind of thing. It's just
no,
I'm hoping it's going to be good. You know what I mean? It may not. They may. Yeah, I don't know. They had some great moments in the first season, which I liked.
Yeah.
But so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes. Yeah, hopefully it ends up being a good show. But I didn't even know it was coming out until you told me this morning that it was coming out. And I was like, oh, well, I guess we're gonna cover that eventually. And then we're like, oh, I guess we're gonna cover it tonight. So I guess I really gotta watch it now. So cool. All right, we're gonna talk on the Last of Us premiere. Hope you guys
the first episode.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, let us know what you guys think about it. Anything we're gonna do before we wrap up here?
Oh man, I watched the Devil May Cry series on Netflix.
Good. What do you know? Here you go.
You know what?
No.
Yeah, I know. I'm really disappointed because, as far as I know, this is the first piece of media or like movie or whatever that's been put out with Devil May Cry. I can't think of any other, another anime that's been done. Maybe there has been. Maybe maybe one came out in Japan and never made it over here or whatever, or I missed it, or some live action show. So this is the first piece of television media that we've gotten for Devil May Cry. So I was kind of looking forward to it. And they did the whole thing where like Dante is not the main character in his own story. It's the girl. She's the real main character. What's that?
I said really? That's really what they did?
That's what they did.
Switch?
Yeah, and Dante is in it. Dante's in it. He's 100% in it, and he has some cool moments. But the one that really moves the story, the one that has the agency in this story, is the girl. Is the demon hunter, Federale chick or whatever. And it's not so much that that's a bad thing. Like, tell that story. That story is great, but just don't call it Devil May Cry, or don't put Dante in it, or say it's in the world of Devil May Cry kind of thing. Yeah. Or maybe do that story and then then Dante shows up later and you're like, oh shit, it's actually Devil May Cry and not, demon fight, bang bang. You know what I mean? That's what they could have called it. Yeah. And then have Dante show up and you're like, oh crap, we're in the world of Devil May Cry, something like that. That would have been, then go from there. But yeah, the one that really moves the story, the one that it seems like it always comes back, to her and what she's going through, and she's able to kind of get the one up on Dante, who's like literally like fighting multiple people at a time, dodging bullets, running up this, just doing like some Neo in the Matrix type stuff, like dialed up to 11
you do in the game pretty much,
right? And then all of a sudden and then this chick is gonna get the drop on you, and she doesn't have any. I mean, she has like some cool little gadgets, but she doesn't have any powers. And it's like that whole Black Widow thing. It's like you're doing stuff that, you shouldn't be able to do. You know what I mean? You can't keep up with Dante, but somehow you're keeping up with them. Somehow you're falling, not necessarily off of a building, but you're taking these massive hits, and why are you getting up from that kind of thing? So so they end up doing that in the show. So it makes it a little disappointing for that reason. If it wasn't Devil May Cry and they didn't put Dante in it at all, or whatever, it would be pretty good. If it wasn't for that, it would be good. But it's the fact that they said, this is what we're giving you, and then he's not in it. Like what they were talking about doing, like with Blade, the new Blade movie. They're going to put Blade in it, but Blade, but then his sidekick, his Fem Force 5 sidekicks are going to be like, they're going to be the main characters. Like, what are you talking about right now?
Yeah, he's the fourth lead or something. That doesn't make any sense. Like, don't. I thought we were past this. I thought we learned.
Yeah, so did I.
The bait and switch was not the way to do it. I thought we've learned that, but no, we got that. We got that. The writers, the War of Rohirrim that came out, also similar to that.
That's pretty recent.
A lot of they're still doing it. A lot of bait and switching, man, and that's not how it works. And that's what bothers me, right? If it was in the name of diversity and trying to make it so like we can represent everybody, they wouldn't do the sneaky things to try to get you to buy it. They wouldn't do that to try to bring you in. Like, hey, Dante Devil May Cry. You're here. Just kidding. This chick. Like, it's like if they truly believed in diversity and believed in the show that they're trying to do, the work they're trying to do, then they would just market it as what it is and not try to fake out. It's just like, it's fucking bullshit. That's what it is. Yeah. God,
and 100%. And Dante's in it, and because it's called Devil May Cry, he does have his big moment where he, he fights the big bad guy, and then when everything's said and done, the chick gets him again. It's like, what? Come on.
Oh my gosh, that's effing upsetting, man. Okay. All right. Well, it seems like Jeremiah is into Thor, Gore the God Butcher. Yeah. Makes me hate Love and Thunder.
Makes me hate Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
You are not lying.
Yeah.
You are not lying.
Dude, there are so many things that bother me about the MCU, but them just taking the Gore the God Butcher story and completely shitting on it. The way that it did it, and Taika Waititi, and how they bastardized that story. Like, that is one of the biggest, the most egregious acts the MCU has done, like of a lot of the things they've done. Taskmaster is another close
so
one,
much. It made me hate Ragnarok, and I was cool with Ragnarok. I was cool.
Yeah.
Ragnarok.
I recall.
It was funny. They're doing their thing. Okay, you did that thing. Fine. Now let's move on. You did that thing. Let's move on. And then they did that Love and Thunder, and that movie was so bad. It's like with that Joker, Folie à Deux, or whatever it was called. Like, that movie was so bad, it made me look at the first movie differently. Like, wait, what? And that's what, Love and Thunder had the same effect with me with Ragnarok. It was like, I'm looking at this different now. And I was actually okay with that movie. I thought that movie was funny. But now if I sit down and watch it, I'm gonna be looking at it sideways. I don't think I can watch that movie anymore. Even Ragnarok, I'm like,
yeah, I don't know anymore.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that is
good call. So anybody out there, go read that story of Gore the God Butcher. That story is fantastic. I constantly think about that story and how good it is.
Yeah,
it's amazing. I love the fact that this little alien child is like praying to Thor. And in my mind, up until that point, Thor was just this superpowered guy. But he's a god and somebody's praying to him naturally. I'm like, that makes sense. How come this has not been explored?
Right.
It makes complete sense.
God,
and then he answers the call and it turns into hijinks.
Yeah, it turns into a bigger deal. He's like, where are your gods at? I'm like, oh bullshit, there's the question. And there's
he's
man. This is bullshit, dude. Fucking down.
All gods have like a key to every other god's dimension.
Yeah, it's up right. Yeah. No, damn it, Jeremiah. Now I'm upset too. Now I'm more upset. So I'm jacked now.
I hadn't thought about that in years. And now I'm mad.
Yeah, now I'm just upset about it again. Yeah, I don't know. I think my Gore the God Butcher's around here somewhere, but yeah.
Oh, you looking for your copies of it?
Oh, you have it?
I was gonna say, I think I got your copies of it, dude.
Yeah, you are. You might have the copy.
I'm like 98% sure I got your copies of it. 98%.
Eric,
dude.
Yeah. Eric's weighing in obnoxious movies.
Obnoxious
you got it, man.
movies. Yeah, dude.
Absolutely right.
I wish that wasn't the case, but
yeah,
both of them. Yeah, obnoxious is a good way to put it. It's like, man, and then with the goats, the screaming goats, like what?
Oh yeah, I remember that. That's an old thing too. Yeah, that was ridiculous. Yeah,
wasn't that like a joke from like 10 years ago or 10 years prior?
Yeah. And freaking man, Waititi was so arrogant about it too. He's like, oh yeah, if you don't like art, then don't come to my movie. I was like, that's not art.
Guess what, man?
Yeah.
Is that what you call that?
You're thinking, buddy. Yeah. Anyway.
And he makes some great movies. He can make some great movies.
Yeah, he has, man. Dude, I love Hunt for the Wilderpeople. It's one of my favorite like slice of life movies, man. I love that movie. Jojo Rabbit, I think it's great.
Jojo Rabbit's good, yeah.
He's done some, What We Do in the Shadows is hilarious. Like, he's done some great movies, man. But I just effing hate his Marvel stuff, man. He really got up in his own shit, man. So
yeah.
Anyway, today I went to go watch this movie called Sacramento. It had Michael Cera and Michael, what's this guy's Michael Angarano, I think his name is. And I think he wrote and directed it too. And Michael Cera, I think Kristen Stewart. I think it's Kristen Stewart, the Twilight one. She's in it too. It's a good like a buddy kind of drama comedy. They go on this like impromptu road trip. It's really good indie flick. One of my a movie that I would like. It's a movie that I like. Real slice of life kind of low budget, buddy kind of movie. So yeah,
It's
really good. Really good. Yeah. They go to Sacramento.
They're every Sacramento win it. I've been to Sacramento.
Yeah.
I'll be looking. I'll be watching. Like that's not a Sacramento.
Watch the movie's called Sacramento, and they go to like Reno or something. It's like we're just being artsy.
Gotcha.
We're being artsy fartsy. Yeah.
There's this terrible Christmas. What? Not let me not say that. But there's this one of those Hallmark Christmas movies called and this might just be relevant for you and I because we the town we live in. Called Merry Kismet. Merry Christmas, Merry Kismet. Ha ha ha. But it's supposed to. It takes place in San Francisco, but they clearly shot it in downtown Riverside.
Oh,
they
really?
shot it in Riverside because I'm looking at like that looks familiar. Like, wait, that's another thing that looks familiar. I saw like at least like 3 different things that was like, okay, that's the animal shelter that they built off of Limonite. So that was in it. And then they shot around downtown Riverside. And downtown Riverside does not look like San Francisco, but
not at all.
Not at all.
I would have if it was me watching, I would have been able to tell that it wasn't San Francisco because there wasn't human feces on the ground everywhere. Like there was last time. Yeah. There's so much.
Get your act together.
I don't know, man. Being as rich of a city as you are, there should not be that much human, if any human feces on the ground.
If any,
I think, yeah.
And I know it's some parts of it too. I know it's some parts. A friend of mine that has that he's the biggest, Grateful Dead fan in the world. So he'll go out there because that's where they got their start and everything. And I can't remember what this one section of it's not the meat locker. I want to say there's something of the meat. I can't remember what it was called. It reminded something with meat was in the story. But anyways, there's one section of it that was like, he says it's bad. It's like there's like drug paraphernalia, like you said, there's feces. It's just they've given up on it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I
can see that. Yeah.
But some parts of San Francisco are nice.
No desire. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I'm not in a rush to ever go back. I don't think I'll ever go back.
Wow.
I had to pay like $120 a night for parking at the hotel that I was staying at. Like,
for the hotel you were staying at.
Yeah, I already had to pay $120 or whatever, $200 a night to stay there, and I had to pay it was like $80 or $90 maybe for parking in their garage, and I was staying there. I was like, yeah, I'm not ever coming back here again. The clam chowder wasn't even that good. So yeah.
So you went down to Fisherman's Wharf and you weren't impressed?
No, I went down there and I wasn't. It was just too. Yeah, it wasn't. It was
too fishy.
It wasn't fishy in the bad way. Yeah, not fishy in the sense there's a lot of fish and food down there. It just wasn't like it didn't seem like a nice place. I walked around and I was like, I'm gonna leave and never come back. I was there for a wedding, so yeah. But anyway, all right, Jeremiah, that's the kind of art where someone puts paint on their butt and swings over a canvas.
So if you don't like my art,
we're talking about Thor: Love and Thunder. Couldn't agree with you more, man. And that probably that canvas would have sold more, I imagine.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That movie did, yeah. So, cool. All right, is that gonna be it? You talk about everything.
That's it, man. Huh? That's it.
Yeah, we did it. We win. Next week we're gonna be getting into Daredevil Born Again season 1. I think that's on the schedule for next week. I think the show ends this week. The last episode will come out.
Cool.
I'm really behind. I watched episode 2 today, so I gotta.
I'm super behind too. So I gotta. The rest of my time is gonna be spent watching that and doing my taxes.
Your taxes are due tomorrow or in 2 days, right?
Yes. I'm right on schedule.
Yeah, I wish I would have rather have not done my taxes. I owed for some reason.
Oh, crap!
Like a lot. Yeah. Yeah, it's not. Wasn't exciting, but I blame the city. I know.
Yeah, maybe they need to take more out of your taxes. I don't know. I'll say.
Yeah, maybe. I know. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go to an actual tax person next year and be like, tell me what I'm doing.
Review this, fix this.
Yeah. So anyway, cool. I guess that's it then, huh? So make sure you guys catch up on Daredevil. Come see it next week. We're gonna be doing a regular episode next week on that. But yeah, that's gonna be it, right?
Yep. Next week.
Cool. All right. Well, as always, I'm Trent.
And I'm Mark.
And this is Geek
Off the Streets.
Line up. Won't line up.
Yeah,
Stupid internet lag. Yeah. Are we far enough into the future to where we can have everything line up and be perfect on the internet? I feel like we're past that point now.
Yeah, it trips me out when I see like CNN and like they're all staticky with the person that they're talking to. Like,
yeah,
you guys should have like the best tech in the world. Like, what are you doing right now? How are you messing that up? Okay. The tenderloin. I knew it was something meat related. Sorry, San Francisco. The crappy part of San Francisco. Literally, the tenderloin.
Yeah.
My friend, Dr. Lyles.
Oh, Dr. Lyles.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Oh, is he
just sent me a text.
Too?
Got to watch it right now. Or he just sent me the tenderloin.
Just randomly sent it to you.
Something to think about. Yes, it was called the tenderloin. I knew it was something meat related.
Yeah. Gotcha. I mean, I don't know why you want to go to a place.
Thank you, brother. This is the tenderloin. Thanks, man.
Well, now I know who the fourth person is watching the stream. Yeah, thanks a lot. But yeah, cool. All right, Jeremiah, Eric, thanks for tuning into the stream, man. We'll see you guys next live, and then our show coming out next week will be Daredevil. So tune in for that also.
Be ready.
But otherwise, that's it. We did it. We're done. All right, we are out of here. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Realsies.
Yeah, this time. For this time, yeah. Oh wait, I gotta stop. There we go. Nikki, now we're done.
The uploading looks like it's almost complete.